the Dream 100 Show. The epicenter of influence, collaboration, and exponential growth. You're about to discover the power of relationships. Dream 100 relationships. And you're one relationship away from a totally different business and life. This is your host, Michael Tesner.
What is my favorite Dream 100 gift for 2026 and even potentially beyond? In today's podcast, I want to talk a little bit more about gifting, but I want to talk through one slight pivot that I have been making on the gifting side. Now, if you're new here, I'm going to give you the really quick recap on how we leverage gifts by way of the Dream 100. I also want to make sure that I delineate between traditional Dream 100 and then more of the sales Dream 100 approach. So the traditional Dream 100 framework allows you to build relationships over time. We're playing the long game. We're picking one of the three industries or areas, for example. Some people call them industries, niches, target audiences. And that's either your Dream 100 clients / customers, your Dream 100 partners or referral relationships, or the Dream 100 press and media. We pick one of those. We build out that list of 100 plus targets. And then we slowly start to build a relationship. We do that by sending content, commenting on their social media, for example. Inviting them to our podcast being one of my favorite strategies that we talked a lot about last year. And at one point, you're going to want to send a gift. Now, we strategically send gifts when there's been one of a couple of parameters hit. Now, the asterisk to all of this is that depending on the size of the relationship, you're going to be more aggressive or a little bit less aggressive. If these relationships are worth a boatload of money to you, which I want them to be, I'm going to want you to be a bit more aggressive on the gifting side. And when we talk through some of these parameters, you might not have as strict of parameters. But what I like to look for and what I always advise you is look for people that have hit certain thresholds. For example, they've engaged with a couple of your social media replies to their posts. They've responded to an email. They've opened a bunch of your emails because you've tracked them accordingly. Or the easiest of ones, they've came on your podcast. That's a perfect and easy way to send a gift thereafter. Now, if they've done none of those, but you tell me, Michael, these relationships, they are worth a lot of money, I'm going to want you to look at sending a gift regardless. And you're going to do this in stages and tiers. So you're not just going to send out $100,000 worth of gifts, for example, over a 2-week period. You're going to invest a minimum of $50 per gift. We don't send cheap gifts here. We just don't. We don't do the $5 Starbucks gift cards. We don't play the stupid game of you're sending somebody 1 cent on PayPal that they can see you've got money and they read your corny message. That stuff doesn't typically work. Might it grab my attention for a minute? Yes, but I'm like, who's sending me a penny? Like, send me $100, maybe I'll take a look at it. A penny? Get real. Will I take a survey that takes 30 minutes for $5? I'm definitely not doing that. So we send gifts that are at least $50 or more. If they're getting higher and higher in your funnel, you might escalate the size of the gifts and or again, that relationship. If you say, Michael, everyone on my Dream 100 list, if I land even one of these, it's worth at minimum $1 million to me. At minimum. If you follow the Dream 100 framework, as I teach you and have taught you, it's got a 100% success rate if followed strategically. What happens is people take this traditional Dream 100 approach and then they think of it as the sales one. There's another approach, which is Dream 100 kind of salesy, but it's really not traditionally how I teach you. That's more of a leveraging gifts to hopefully open a conversation, but you're going right in for the kill. And those are different types of gifts. Those are usually food related initially, and then they're done in tiers over the course of a couple of months. So I started this podcast and said, well, what's my favorite gift and what am I changing this year? So we love to do hyper personalized gifts whenever possible. So if somebody comes on a podcast with me, my team does the research not only before, but also after to see, is there anything that is really, really interesting that we pulled out of the podcast or that we pulled out from something that they've posted that we can find a gift for? We look for sporting things, we look for vacations, we look for where they went to college, high school, if they're always talking about their kids openly and publicly, not like in private Facebook groups where they're like, oh my gosh, how did you learn that my daughter loves dance? So like I talk about openly that both of my daughters are in dance and one of them is doing competitive dance. So it wouldn't, to me, feel weird if somebody said, here's, I don't know, something interesting that I think your daughters might like, or here's a book on dance. Would it be weird if they sent like dance shoes and said, I think this is their size? Yeah, that would be weird. But sending something that's more broad on the topic. I know that you have two daughters that are interested in dance. Here are a few dance books that I think they might like. I would love to receive a gift like that. And that would show me that they did their research. I've had other people that have sent me gift cards to restaurants that are in the area. They do the research on the best restaurants, and that's great. I love gift cards, in particular, gift cards to certain restaurants that I've talked about, so they can show me that they did that research. But how hard is it to actually send a gift card? Not overly challenging. So the one gift that I've talked a lot about lately has been Cutco knives. And what I love about Cutco knives is that it makes it very easy for you to send one gift and then to send a follow-up gift and a follow-up gift. Like it could be one gift in series. What I'm changing is that I'm using a lot more of those Cutco knives for podcast people. So they come on the podcast, they get a $300 set of Cutco knives. But I'm reserving those more for people that end up becoming clients because we then put that gifting program in place for the entire year. So great book, Giftology, and that's more about how we're using those to retain clients. The gift that I'm going all in on this year is a gift that I actually have here, and I'm going to talk through each of these different pieces. So high-end custom leather journals. I'm going to give a shout out to the company that I've been using. I actually didn't know if they were still in business because their website has not been updated in probably 10 years from I think when I first ordered these. But they are still in business, and this has been one of the nicest gifts that I have ever given myself and then started to give prospects. So the first piece, again, is that it is a high-end gift. This is not, you look at it and you think that this is like a $10 journal or something like that. It's real leather, you can smell it, really nice stitching. If you look at the stain work on the leather, they have this really cool strap, which I like. Pay a few extra dollars. I don't even know what this is called, but not a medallion, but I don't know what it's called. But that goes at the end. I make sure that they're always engraved with the person's name. And then when you open it, this one's got a space for a pen. So we'll talk about the pen in just a minute. But what I love about this one in particular is that it is refillable. So why does that matter? Well, when something is refillable, it gives me, I'm just going to wrap this up, and it wraps up nicely and like it's just really, really high end. When it's refillable, that gives me a reason to continue to send them something. So what we've been then doing is sending this as gift number one, and this is roughly $150. Not inexpensive, not ridiculous. But then what we've been doing every couple of months is we've been sending, we like the paper that is handmade. So I don't know if he's buying this somewhere else or if he's actually making the paper, but it It's thick, like it's just really unique. Like it's not something you're going to go and get at Barnes & Nobles or Office Depot or something like that. So we'll send this as the first one. And then every quarter, and we buy them in 4-packs, we're going to send this. So they're getting that with their journal. And then every couple of months, they're going to get that. We also love to send high-end pens. So depending on the relationship, we will send, I always like to tell you the companies, but this is the Retro 51. Really, really nice pens. Didn't even open this pen case up. So we'll open this one up and I'll show you these. But I typically will send this with the journal as well, or I will use this as an excuse for when we're sending the second follow-up. Let me just get this thing open. Guess I should have had it open before I started the episode, but that's all good. But these are roughly $50. It's just a heavy pen that screams and it feels like high quality. Like it's not just in a little plastic bag, like it's in this beautiful looking case, for example, so they can store it on here. Like it comes like this. I always buy the extra pen blanks. Not blanks, I think, is that what they're called? The pen refills that go with it. But what I love about this is that it's an entire kind of Dream 100 marketing campaign in and of itself. So they're going to get the journal, typically with the first pen. If I don't send the pen initially, again, I send the journal with a handwritten note. I don't write in the journal. My logo is nowhere on this. I send a handwritten card with it. So I have them shipped to me. I don't have them shipped directly to the Dream 100 prospect. They're shipped to me. So yes, I'm technically paying double shipping. I probably could ask them to ship a letter for me, or I could mail out letters to them. So I could do that. But I have it shipped here. I repackage it. So I like to do a little bit of different packaging. I actually use Buffalo, New York wrapping paper, and I put it in that. So it's even just a little bit more fun. And we'll send that off with the handwritten letter. Then I wait. And I'll shoot a follow-up note if I don't hear from them. But typically within a couple of days, I'm hearing something either on Facebook DM, a text message, an email. Thank you so much. What a beautiful journal. I've had people tell me they're going to cherish it. That it's now their favorite journal. But what I love about this gift, and also the Cutco knives, is utility. They're not going to shelve a $150 journal. They're just not. Doesn't happen. Are they going to potentially shelve a $20 journal that looks like every other journal on the planet? It's definitely a high possibility. But when something is engraved with their name on it. But what I love about this and the refills, we used to not do the refill one. What I love about, you can send that to them and they could like refill it for you essentially. I don't remember the process of how they were doing that, but that was so complicated. This gives me a reason to every couple of months and the refills are very inexpensive. So yeah, the gift is a little bit more expensive on the top end, but you can then be sending these refills every couple of months with another note. Hope you're enjoying the journal and talking about your life and all the amazing things. I'm grateful to have you in my life. Here's a refill for your next couple of months. I'm going to keep sending you these until you tell me to stop, for example. And you continue and you continue and you continue. But what I love about this is that it makes it a little easier to scale and to simplify. I always talk and say I'm in simple scales. And I don't want you to oversimplify the gifts. I don't want you to go to having non-personalized gifts, but I also like to have some of this stuff to where you're not having to constantly come up with 4 completely different gifts during the course of the year, that this allows you to almost have that campaign already pre-planned. Yes, we're going to continue doing the highly personal gifts and the one-off gifts and testing some different things, but we're going to go all in this year on these high-end leather journals, the really nice $50+ pens with the refills, and then sending them the refills for the actual journal every couple of months as well. Pick a gift that's going to work really, really well, get it personalized, and even if you start with 5 people, you don't have to send 100 of these. Again, 100 times $150, do the math. Are you going to drop $15,000? If you have that, I could argue the case as to why you should. If it's not going to potentially bankrupt you and you have the time and resources to put all the follow-up and keep the Dream 100 process rolling, go all in. Roll the dice. Go big or go home. Start off your year exceptionally well. Or stagger it out to where maybe you're sending them again when they hit certain tiers of responses with you, or they come on as a podcast guest. But look at these leather journals. Rogue Journals, again, is the company that I personally use. Absolutely love it. The quality is just off the charts. Michael Zasner signing off. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. I will catch you here next week.